Hi all. Today I thought I'd change the subject a little bit to help a person to kind of understand a visual background of what we're dealing with regard to this subject of overcoming a religious cult or religious belief system or any belief system, whether it be political, whatever, that's excessive and has got off the rails with beliefs and that really aren't helpful for anyone, including themselves. Well, anyway, this video, I'm going to call it, it's an airplane-land-person in God's cosmos. Airplane-land-person or airplane-land-person in God's cosmos. And let me get into it and you'll see what I'm talking about. So basically, imagine you're a person with free will and you are an airplane. Okay, so this person with free will is actually you're an airplane. And your assignment from the day of your birth was to fly this path all the way around right here, to fly that path. Everything you've ever done or anything you've ever done since the day you were born, it was to fly that path all the way around. So now you're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, 60 years old, some age. And the only thing you've ever done was fly this path all the way around right here. So from your perspective as an individual, the only thing you've ever seen in life is what you've been able to see from the cockpit of this plane. You know, the width of the visual field, you know, within the range of that you could see depending on how high you went with your plane. But everything was within range of that. Nothing out of range was visible, whether it be on the outside or on the inside. Now, this is God's cosmos, and so let's assume that everything is on the inside, nothing is on the outside, because this is God's cosmos, and you're basically just flying around the edges, and you haven't really got into the inside and find out what's really on the inside of God's cosmos at all. You've just been flying one little pattern, you know, all the way around, you know, like a car driving around a track, okay? And so from the viewpoint of this individual free will, this is all that exists. Now, in order for this airplane, this free will, to be able to get any more additional knowledge, what does it have to do? What is its options? If this free will, this aeroplane that's this person, that's in the illustration, an airplane, that all it's ever done is fly around this pattern around the edge, never went inside. Of course, inside is the only option, but it would have to go inside. So the question is what will this free will need to do in order to make any changes, any growth, anything in its life? What will it have to do? It will have to decide, I'm going to veer away from this path. Now, why is it on the path is the question, okay? Now, that's the point, you know, religious training, moral guidance for good, okay? And that's really the point of, from the time a child is young, its parents put it on its path, you know, of a good system of thought. See, that's what cosmosis means, a system of thought. So basically, when a child is born, parents are provided, under ideal or proper conditions where the child will be taught a system of thought. It will grow, it will mature, and then at some point, you know, the free will should be able to pilot that plane enough to where it can go anywhere. It can fly anywhere. And why is that possible? Why should that be possible? I'm going to explain that now. See, this is God's universe, and this is it's a cosmosis. A universe is a cosmos, which is the universe as a well-ordered whole, okay? Cosmosis is a system of thought, okay? So I'm teaching you the system of thought that God utilizes to have the universe as a well-ordered whole, okay? And that system of thought is one life, one unified cosmos life, okay, that works in, you reap what you sow. So every individual life in the total life, think of it as a body. We're a body. We're made up of trillions of cells. Each one of those cells is like a human in our body, trying to live its happy life in harmony with all the other cells or humans around it, to where it functions as a body. We function as we. Now, we're not aware of what's happening on the level of all our cells, but they're aware of it. Their consciousnesses are aware of it. And our consciousness is aware of the level that we're at, as we speak. The point being is that everyone is interconnected. In other words, if I decide to do something, then everything that would have been needed for me to actually do that will have had to have been provided either by myself or someone else in the past. So we have, so again, it all works as one life, a unified whole. I decide I want a ham sandwich or any kind of a meal, and I go to my refrigerator and open it up, whatever's in there is all I can use to make a meal. If there's no ham in there, I can't make a ham sandwich. Now, what would put ham in there? Well, I would have had to go to the store, and then somebody would have had to put it in the store, and somebody would have had to have raised the pig, and somebody had to butcher, it goes on and on and on. It's all working as one life, a unified whole. And this cosmosis is a system of thought that explains how this works, and that's what I'm doing now. Well, this unified whole in God's cosmos is basically based on three things: all presence, all knowing, all powerful. God, space, time, life, the will to live, life itself, all presence. God, consciousness, wisdom, all knowing. God, conscious desire, all powerful. And this is really what the Holy Trinity is. This and similar thoughts like this. This can be explained in a lot of different ways. But we see how it happens to be three. And this I think I would call the Holy Trinity, because this is one that's directly connected with God. This is it. All presence, all knowing, all powerful. So now we ask the question, at what stage is your growth as a child of God? At what stage is your growth as a child of God or child of God? So I'm directly saying that to you. At what stage is your growth? Because this applies to everyone. This free will individual is every one of us, and we're going around our track, and we're some level of religious or moral training to decide how can we move around. You think about it. What controls whether you decide to do something in life? How do you feel about it? How do you decide how you feel about it is going to determine how much power you put into it. And all knowing, what do you think? Is it a good decision? You consciously think, is it a good? So do you feel? How do you feel about it? Your power put into it. Wisdom, knowing. And then, depending on how you feel about this, will determine how much space, time, life, will to live, how much energy you actually put into this to make it happen. And so the point, what I'm getting at is this: you reap what you sow, and you reap what you sow depending on how much energy you put into these, because you have been given personhood with a free will. And this is the system of thought in God's cosmosis. And you're one individual cell, one free will, in a world full of free wills that are all hopefully trained with a good moral guidance to live by good, so that everyone, either is in this track doing that, or somewhere on the inside from the viewpoint that they're doing exactly what they want with their free will. But they should not be trapped into any particular path, because that's the point. We have free will. When a child grows up enough, or a person has enough moral religious training, and it doesn't necessarily have to be religious. We could apply this to anything. This could be some technical training. until we're going to school, we stay in our little path until we have enough technical training to where we feel like we can venture out and go inside and do other things, swim around. This is presented as a 2D, but imagine this as a bubble. This track is a bubble, and you only was following around the edges of the bubble, but the space inside is tremendous. And that's what we're saying is you as an individual free will need to learn how to live your life as a mature adult child of God. And what these videos in this series talks about with regard to understanding cults and those things and behaviors with regard to religions that's excessive, unnecessary. What all this is about is helping a person to grow up and mature to the point where they don't feel like there's something that's keeping them in this track. That they've been fooled to think that their free will isn't real, but they really do have free will. We all have free will and we can use it, but we have to learn to use it. And some people have basically tried to control our free will, our mind, by making us say the only safe place to be to know God or have a relate, you got to follow the rules the track that I have put in place for you. And it might be some path that you can't get. And they go, don't change, don't move away from that path. Stay on my path, because they're wanting to control you. And it might be. Think of it from the viewpoint of parents that don't know when to let go. I mean, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Jehovah's Witnesses need to learn to when to let go of their disciples so that they can go off and live lives and become disciples that can help others to be better people too. Instead of hold on to them till their old age and they're dead and they never actually accomplished anything in life other than keep saying that they're going to accomplish something. Well, yeah, one day we're going to be good people and we're going to live and everything's going to be good on earth. And all these people that we hate now, they're going to come back in a resurrection and then we're going to love them. I mean, come on, that's all kind of ridiculous. So anyway, I didn't mean to get into any technical stuff and all. All I wanted to do was to present this and then help a person to understand how others want to control your thinking, to keep you on some track in life to where you don't realize you're an airplane and you can fly anywhere. You are an airplane with free will in a 3D world, and you have, as a child of God, you have a portion of time and space and a will to live, to use as you desire, and the ability to create wisdom and a knowing so that you can do it in a way that's successful and all of your dreams come true. So basically, this one life of God is made up of billions of smaller lives, each one trying to accomplish this. And collectively, all of these billions of lives, whether it be human or some other form, the whole universe as a whole, all energy and so forth and so on in this cosmos, as explained by the cosmosis, a system of thought here, with regard that all of these collective billions of free wills collectively make up the all, God. And at some point, there's a mind at the top that monitors and makes sure that, things are going in the right direction for the children, watching over to make sure that things in the long run will work out. And we can see that because over time, over centuries, we can see how mankind has continuously progressed. There have been some bad times, think of the world wars and the plagues and other things in history. But we can see that mankind is more prosperous now than it's ever been. And it's more intelligent to where, the vast majority of mankind is on one side saying violence isn't the way to go. We need to figure out a way to be peaceful and work together. And it's all going to be okay in the end. And the reason why is because more people and more are beginning to realize it's just one life. It's a cosmosis, a system of thought that God set up in the beginning. Let us make man in our image. The creation, here we are. And the Bible also says that God created everything out of nothing. He created it out of a thought. It's a system of thought. It's a world of mind that we live in. And it is, yes, real, but it is real because God is the only real thing, and this is what he has thought up. And so just like we can imagine in our mind, use our imagination to create things in our mind, and then from that we can go physically out and build it. Well, God creates it in his mind, and then it is built. And here we are. We are the building. Well, I don't want to go too far with this. I'm at 15 minutes. I think this explained this slide, or this image well. And so each one of us is an airplane-land person, and we have to decide where we want to fly so that the land that we get to know, will satisfy the desires of our heart, because we get to use our free will in a wise way, because we were given good training as a child from our parents and others as appropriate to be able to live the life of our dreams. This is paradise, May all thoughts for harm by anyone, whether maliciously, on purpose, or misguidedly, all thoughts of harm toward mankind, toward any individual, toward any nation, toward any group that is unhelpful, that is not beneficial, that is not love-based, may it be transmuted into love. Because that's really the true intent that we all should work toward on earth, all mankind, to be the best toward that we can toward each other. And so may all thoughts this day be transmuted into that, whether people realize they're doing it or not, so that we can make progress and this world can be the land of peace and security that we all desire, so that we can all fly our airplanes anywhere we want to and with free will, and we'll be safe, and everyone else will be safe and happy, and all will turn out for the benefit and blessing of mankind. So may it be. Amen.